I'm Pat McGrew with McGrew Group. I am here with my usual colleague, Ryan McAbee from Pixel Dot Consulting. And once again, we're bringing you another video for Solimar. This time, it's a case study video that covers state of Colorado. And with us, we have the charming and enthusiastic jack of all trades, the Colorado State Printer, Mike Lincoln. And what I love about talking to Mike is that he does it all. He's got his fingers into everything. And so, Ryan, can you kick us off and lead us on a tour of life with Mike?
Yeah, we spoke a little while back with Mike, and one of the things that was fascinating to me is that you at the in your group, the Integrated Document Solutions group there, you've had a lot of change lately over the last few years, and it wasn't all related to the pandemic and what we were dealing with that situation. It's the ball of the story rolling before that. And what I found amazing was, walk us through a little bit about how much work you actually took on as different departments kind of folded into you in terms of their printing and mailing needs. And then also, what did that mean in terms of your production and the amount of headcount in terms of labor that you actually took on as part of that process too? Because I think it's very interesting.
So lots of changes, lots of challenges, especially with the pandemic. With the other agencies folding into us, the first one was Department of Transportation before the pandemic, and then right as the pandemic started, Department of Public Health and Environment folded their shop in, and then both of those shops were a blip on a radar with regards to volumes, the type of volumes that we handle. And of course, our shop is more transactional in nature, and the types of work that moved over were not necessarily all transactional. I would say probably 5%, maybe 10% of that work that came over was transactional, but the rest of it was, graphic arts, booklets, those kinds of things. But the big one was Department of Revenue. Colorado Department of Revenue, a direct result of the pandemic, actually came over June of last year, so 2021, and that was about a 15% increase for our shop, 15% over normal volumes. You add the pandemic in, and our volumes were up 40% on top of that. So it was a significant amount of work, where I think we were able to absorb it very well is the ADF solution that we had in place, the Solimar solution, being able to bring that work on and digitize workflows in just about every case. In many of them weren't digitized to begin with as they came over. They were very manual in nature. And so being able to leverage piece level tracking, being able to leverage the ability to move things to touch and toss that hadn't been. So being able to do that full closed loop on work that had never been before, brought a level of integrity that didn't exist in some cases. So our solution foundation was well suited for the changes that came on. We didn't expect it, but we were set up well to handle it. The one thing that we did, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, Mike, with that, you had that huge increase in volume, obviously, pandemic, and because you took on the Department of Revenue's work. What did that mean in terms of the additional headcount, or was it just that you were, did you have to take on 10 extra people, or how did that go?
So ironically enough, we didn't have to take on extra bodies. Through the transition of all of them, we took on one additional person from one of the shops. And that was actually before the pandemic. So we were able to handle the volumes with the technologies that we were able to bring to bear on the things that these other shops had done, who were rather traditional in a sense, where I come from the industry. I started way back in 1977. And so, I know what those manual processes were because frankly, I was knee deep in them. So being able to not only understand what it took to get it done from a manual perspective, but then understanding how to leverage the technology that we had, we really didn't need to add headcount to what we did. We just needed to figure out where we had bandwidth in the digital workflows and where we're going to actually get that work done. So our biggest challenge initially was processing a lot of work at one time. We have Deloitte is one of the state's vendors. Fast Enterprises is another one with Gentax and Drives for Department of Revenue. We also take on work from a variety of other legacy systems within the state. So we've got a little bit of mainframe print coming in. So we've got what I've always referred to as the wide mouth of the funnel with Solimar, and it brings it in and normalizes it to a PDF workflow that we can easily handle within our shop. So really it was a matter of understanding exactly where did we need the resources. The one product that really saved and was a game changer for us was Ready PDF, being able to consolidate files, or not consolidate, but optimize the PDFs and reduce rip time on the printer. So one of our applications, which is our largest customer, actually, we saw 70% time savings in rip time just by using Ready PDF, which gave us the ability to get those on the printer and printing faster. So that was a big game changer. So it was really just a matter of understanding.
On those files that you got that kind of reduction, were those files that might have originated on a mainframe somewhere, or were they network produced files, or was it a mix?
Those particular files were actually coming from Deloitte. And so it was the way that they were constructing their PDFs. Lack of a better way of saying it, I don't know that they fully understand how to construct a good PDF for a printer. They know how to construct a PDF for digital presentation, awesome. But when it comes time to print it, there's a lot of things that are nuances to what we do in our industry. And so ironically enough, we worked with all of our vendors on how to better create PDFs to give us the ability to process them quicker and more efficiently on our side. I'm always surprised at how these companies that are rather large just don't know how to construct a PDF.
So true. So, the other thing we talked about speed of actually processing of the files, but I thought an interesting thing just to give perspective to everybody too, what monumental task you took on and how Solimar played a key role in that is that when you took on the Department of Revenue work, there was a previous study that told you how much time that should take, and then how much time did it actually take?
Yeah, so in general, the average processing day for the Department of Revenue was about 14 hours across a variety of FTE. I think the number is 7 FTE across what they did. And when we brought it in, I can tell you initially that first month it was rocky because we were transitioning workflows that we didn't know everything, and there were a lot of, oh, by the way, did we tell you about this? I think it's the nature of these transitions. So we experienced why it took that much time. Matter of fact, I found myself on the production floor folding and inserting automotive titles because the way that the process worked, it was really designed as a manual process. So it wasn't set up for automation. So I can tell you, I know exactly why it took so long to do those things, but also understanding the nature of digital workflow and how to optimize it is where we had the biggest savings. And we took that 7 FTE in about 14 hours down to about anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, depending on the day and the volume.
Wow, that's a pretty impressive gain.
Right.
That is absolutely amazing. So, Mike, what would be your final words to someone if they see the train coming at them? Their management has just explained to them that they're about to take on an ocean's worth of work. What's your first step as you're preparing for that onslaught?
Duck. No, it's going to vary from shop to shop. So because of my peers in the industry and the folks I know every shop isn't set up the same way we are. But if you have the infrastructure already, or even pieces of the infrastructure, it will definitely help in absorbing those additional workflows and that volume. I can tell you, if we didn't have the solutions we had, and well, I probably would have just said, there's no way in heck we could take on Department of Revenue. I would have out of the gate said, I don't have the bandwidth, I don't have the staff, there's no way I can do it. But I knew what I had in my back pocket with the ADF solution we had, with the Solimar, the Rico, all of the applications and the solutions that we could bring to bear on that kind of work. And honestly, it took probably better part of 3 to 4 months to understand the dynamics of what they did before I could very confidently say, we can take this on. I, for more than a decade, had talked to the Department of Revenue about moving some of their work over because I knew what was coming out of their shop. And there was what I would refer to as low-hanging fruit that made great sense to move over. But those weren't necessarily complex workflows and didn't require a level of security. But if you look at titles and warrants and other types of work that they do that is has legal ramifications, legal documents, those kinds of things, they do require extra work. But when you have a digital workflow that you can show them how they can hold and release and print on demand, and we can add integrity to the printing with touch and toss, it just changes the relationship with the customer. And we've had several of our customers across the various agencies that have moved over that said, wow, what took us so long?
That's fabulous. Mike, thanks so much for your time, because I think you've explained it perfectly. I don't think I had a clear understanding of just how versatile a state printer had to be until I really started listening to how you actually have to run your shop. So I want to thank you very much for your time. Ryan, as always, thank you. And I'm Pat McGrew, and we hope that you will come back for another one of our case study videos.
Thank you.